Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of, hang on, push the button there. There we go. Oh, there's the Richard right there. Another day of FileMaker. Whoa, it's a lot of Richard. I'm back up a little bit. That's too much. Willow, that's too much, Richard. When you see that, it's like, hello, welcome to the internet. Yeah, everyone, welcome to fmtrain.tv. It's 1 o'clock. We have a special action-packed day for you coming up momentarily. However, right before we kick that over, I want to give everyone a little bit of hot news. So, been talking to Claris a little bit, so we expect, so everyone listen to this carefully, we expect FileMaker 19.6 to ship at any minute. Kristian Olsen, have you seen it, FileMaker 19.6 ship yet? Have you seen it ship?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
I was checking my downloads folder.
And Apple and Claris are on vacation this week, so must not be this week then. And that brings up some other pieces of news. So I would expect 19.6 to ship next week. Once again, everything's subject to change, but I would expect it to ship next week. All right, cool. So that is one news item. The second news item is I did have a meeting with Claris and a couple senior people who asked not to be identified. And we were discussing freemium and what is freemium and what's coming. As of right now, I am very encouraged by what they have planned. It's what I would more or less do. So there will be a phased rollout of the freemium, the first kind of iteration of it. I don't think it'll be in the App Store initially. That could change, but my impression is that freemium will come out sometime probably in 30 days. That's a little sketchy because that puts us right into Christmas. And so they're being kind of cagey when this happens, but this will be kind of this freemium, but only for the Claris platform. So you're not going to go back to FileMaker and get freemium. There will never be a FileMaker freemium. There'll be a Claris freemium. And as we get closer to that happening, we will talk about it after they take the feedback from all the developers, all the people who don't like bits and pieces squeal about it and write up their complaints. Andy's going to come on the show during all that. Then Claris will do a phase 2 rollout, which is their real public-facing one. That's the big one. That's the one that's really going to hurt the competitors. So if you're a competitor, you've got X number of days before bad juju happens to you, right? So it's only the shit we've been asking for 20 some odd years. Claris is finally listening. I'm very excited about that. I've had some you saw that conversation with Andy, how positive that was on Friday. We were trying to get that recording done up for you. Very positive meeting with him and me. Then him and I went to the freemium meeting right after that. We got done with the live stream. We went on to other stuff. So in the near term, we got 12.6. In the farther, more strategic term, there is the freemium, and then there's a 19.7. By the way, I think you're going to see this, but my understanding is that Claris will ship 19.6 for the FileMaker platform first, before it ever goes to the Claris platform, to demonstrate their ongoing commitment to that platform. That's a big deal. So it'll be out, I think, a day or two, my guess, in advance of the Claris version. So they will deliver the FileMaker one first because they realize that 99% of the population is still using the FileMaker platform. So very exciting on that. We got lots of action and news coming up. Moving forward, so let's talk about, real brief, I'm going to do a quick introduction from a layman's perspective of what is, if I go to, is it FM starting point? Is that where we go? If we go to FM starting point, Kristian, if I want to see the Wolfpack packiness. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so you go to fmstartingpoint.com market and you can hit
not that one
button. All right, Kristian Olsen, we're going to transfer the command of the Starship to you. Are you ready to assume command of the Starship?
As ready as I'm ever going to be. All right. So we've got a new version of Wolfpack coming out. This one's long overdue. I've been telling Richard I would release this since somewhere back in June. In fact, we even had some of the people in the community reach out to us because they want to know if they could submit some add-ons to it, which helps bring some of the creators that we have here today. One minor note, I've heard a rumor that in 19.6, they're finally adding a dialog box when you go to make an add-on to help you name it and add some of the features that are in it. So if you don't use Wolfpack, FileMaker finally got caught up with us. But if you do use Wolfpack, won't necessarily make any difference to you. Hopefully it won't break anything Wolfpack. If it does, I'll fix it. So in this release, we've got 4 new add-ons. I'll be presenting on 2 tomorrow that are there to demonstrate 2 new techniques that I'm hoping might inspire other creators. They're also useful add-ons themselves. However, I'm really excited about today. So I think like it was somewhere back around June, DJ, if he's watching from Next Tech, reached out to me and said, "Hey, we use Wolfpack, and we've got a little add-on. Not sure if you'd be interested in it." And it was a calculator app. So I started talking back and forth with him, and I was like, "This thing's actually pretty neat, and it's grown over time." So we're really fortunate today. We have Willow from Next Tech. She's a junior engineer, but she's also a user interface specialist. She's got this add-on with a calculator app that's got a variety of features. Once Willow's done presenting, we're going to pivot to John Eisen, a senior engineer at RCC that some of you may have seen on the stream before. In fact, John took a stream topic from the past on a printer demo that he had and realized that he could turn this into an add-on to make the installation and use of this even easier. So both of these are going to be relatively simple add-ons for installing. But hopefully they're tools that you will find to be useful or neat, to say the least. So I want to pivot to Willow for a moment, because today is actually a lot less about me. These are our talent. Willow, you want to show us this cool calculator that you made?
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, Kristian. And definitely thank you to Kristian. He had a lot of suggestions for the calculator that's made it a really awesome tool. So yeah, I'll show it to you right away right now. I'll share my screen. Awesome. So I'm going to show what we worked on here at Next Tech, a native calculator to put into any of your solutions. I'll demonstrate it right now. You can use the mouse to click numbers, just like any mouse, but you can also use the keyboard and your number pad. So any way that's comfortable for you to type into the calculator. You can delete numbers if you've made a mistake, or click right into it and start typing.
Richard,
do your calculations.
I have a question. I have to ask a question. This looks like a reverse Polish notation calculator. Is this an RPN calculator, or is this just like a basic one, like the Apple?
Oh, it's a basic calculator. More advanced calculators we're working on for the future.
If you make an RPN calculator, I am in deep love with an RPN calculator. I learned that when I was an engineer, and when you have like lots of numbers and you want to see them on screen like this right here, it's bad at it. Will people have to get past their brain a little bit and just set up. I had an instructor who said, "Richard, don't tell me it's 5 plus 5. Just stack these numbers in here and then do the math against them, and it's so much less error prone. It's so much easier, and you can do whole strings of numbers. So if you build that, I will give you a whole hour." Because I want that.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, pretty much we could collaborate with you a little bit, because we do want to make like a a calculator that's advanced for pay to a little, if we put in a lot of time and dedication to it. We want this one to be very simple and basic, but also pretty powerful when you integrate it with your solution. But yeah, that's something to think about, RPM calculator in the future, and percentages into like that can be a future thing. Right now, it's pretty cool. It's pretty simple. It works basic. You can hit the all clear button to clear, or the C key on your keyboard to clear. And all of our short keys are right here in the information panel. There's lots of ones right here. Plus our settings for on, close, copy to clipboard, on, close, capture to memory settings, which I'll be able to demonstrate when it's live in your solution. Yeah. And to close it, you can hit on capture to memory right here. That's this button right here to show the memory panel, which I will be demonstrating in a second. Close, you can hit X right here, or escape. So here it is in the Wolfpack, the calculator. We set up our pre-flight step-to-step right here. And this is what you'll see in the Wolfpack. This is our little calculator add-on that you download. And I've done it before already, but now let's say I've downloaded it. It's ready to be installed into a solution. I'm opening up FM starting point, as you see right here. I'm going to do view, view layout mode, or Control O, Command L to load up my add-on. Right now, calculator add-on all ready to load up.
Yeah, there's a short delay while it loads the essential bits in there. Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go. It's ready to drop in to your solution. Beautiful, right? All right, so I'm going to go into browse mode to quickly demonstrate. Now it's in your solution. It's beautiful. You can click on it. You can use the keyboard to type in my calculations, hit enter or return to calculate it. Since I have captures on right now in my settings.
Real quick, Willow, you gloss over that, but I think that's actually one of the coolest simple things about this. Once that window opens, you don't have to touch your mouse if you don't want to. So she's sitting and doing all of that on the keyboard, which I don't know about you guys, but I open Spotlight up during the day sometimes to do math. I'm actually intrigued to add one of these into my own solution. So I'm using an actual calculator.
I know, it's awesome. So whatever you're most comfortable with, like my keyboard, I don't have like number pad keyboards, but I know people you can totally just not even touch your mouse for it, or if you're just comfortable clicking it. Kristian had the suggestion of, I want it to really show that you're clicking, and I love it. I love how that looks. But yeah, since I had the capture to keyboard on, that number that I just calculated is on my clipboard. I can paste it anywhere in my solution, any fields. And that is the power of the clipboard part. Plus, it has been captured to memory, my last capture memory. So now by hitting the L key, that has also been saved, a saved value. And you can add other saved values here for, quick access from your short keys. Let's say I want to say plus L, there's 1 for 6 again. Yay, I've calculated it again. And that's, if you have numbers that you use a lot, that's going to be really helping also shorten up your math flow if you use a lot. And hit C again to clear, because it's not just, you don't need the button. The button's great, but we've also have a script trigger so that no matter where you are in your solution, you're going to be able to access the calculator. Right now I can see it is Command 4. So I'm on invoices. It doesn't even have a calculator button. I hit Command 4. Here's my calculator to make a calculation and save it to the clipboard and paste it wherever in my solution.
I have a question. I am truly impressed. Willow, how long have you been doing FileMaker? Just 6 months.
I mean, I've always been like touching on FileMaker because like kind of been into Next Tech, but I started officially at Next Tech this June.
This was one of the
What a show off! What a show! What a show off! It's like when the fighter pilots go flying by inverted down the runway at 5 feet. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, anyone can do that." No,
this is definitely a group collaborative effort. Is here next to just like learning all this stuff and everything. I watch your guys' channel like early on. I was there for that.
Oh, but your first revision looked like that calendar. Truth be told, I went to some of my juniors and I said, "Look what juniors elsewhere are making."
Don't do that. They're gonna freak out because this is like Margaret, right? Margaret actually helped me present at DevCon back in 2015. That's how long Margaret's been. And so Margaret's on this more of a media production kind of project manager track, and Willow's obviously on a very technical track. And I can tell you that Willow did not learn this in 4 months, right? She's been doing this bits and pieces way before that. So if you're a junior engineer, especially one of the people who I've hired recently, please don't freak out that you can't make a calculator after 4 months. Okay, pretty please. Who's calling?
And Willow's right. She came to us with a basic kind of push button, and they asked, "Hey, can we submit this?" And I was like, "Look, I'm not going to tell another company what to do with their junior, but if she's looking for something else to do, I think it'd be really cool if you could just type on there." And we had some back and forth, but the initial calculator was gorgeous. I was like, "Wow, this is pretty neat." Mine would have been quite a bit uglier.
I'm really big into using interface, so like kind of figured all of that out, and then it just kept growing and growing on like how cool and integrated, like to make it native.
Can you do something for me? Go to your calculator and go in and reset it, and just I want to see, because I think you're almost actually at an RPN calculator. So go ahead and go to browse mode.
Right. All right, and then after that, I have one more feature to show.
Well, I'm not. You got all the time you need. So reset it for me. Like AC, like clear it. Okay. Now put 5 in and hit the enter key. 5 in, hit the enter key. Now hit 10 and hit the enter key. Then,
what should I put an operator?
Did you hit the enter key or you didn't hit the enter key?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So here's the way RPN calculators work. For those of you who have not seen this before,
I've never heard of an RPN calculator.
Let me explain this to you. This is really great stuff. So, like a lot of times, like if we're doing 5 plus 5, but a lot of times you have to like add up a timesheet, like a spreadsheet or a bunch of numbers, Kristian, right? And so I don't want to throw this off. So I'm going to turn on my Margaret if the camera here real quick. The idea is that what you do is you input a number and you hit enter, and it just puts it into this. Where's my annotation? Let me say annotate.
It just makes like a list of all of them.
No, it just put like, just do me a favor and clear for a second, right? Let me. I'll walk you through this. It's so powerful and it's so subtle. Just clear all that. Okay, great. So what you do is, if you say you put 5 in, and you would hit the enter key on an RPN calculator. So you put 5 goes here, hit the enter key, it moves it up here. So you don't want to do any math yet. Then you put another number. You say you put a 10 in, and you hit the enter key. And what happens is that the stack keeps moving up. So the stack is kind of first in, first out kind of thing. So then you have 5 and 10, and then you have another number. So you could either do math on these two numbers here, right? And you can verify on screen before you tell it to do the math that those two numbers are correct. A lot of times you get screwed up because you start doing it, and then 5 steps into it, you type the wrong button. And so what allows you to do, if you have a 5 here and then suddenly have the wrong number, you can hit the delete key and erase it and clear it. And so like right now, okay, so yeah, like that. Now hold for a second. If I wanted to add, if I do a math function right now, don't get rid of it.
Yeah, right.
Erase. All right. If I hit like plus button on my RPN, it would take these two and add them together, and then you'd have 15 right here. That's how this works. And it allows you to do stacks of numbers, and you can validate the numbers as you put them up, that you're putting them in correctly. And if you make a mistake, you're not screwed. You don't have to start from scratch. As a person who had to do this on an engineering test, starting from scratch in the middle of a time test sucks. And so RPN, and most time people say, oh, reverse Polish notation, it must be a Polak joke. How many Polacks does it take to screw in a light bulb? It's not that kind of deal. It's actually really smart. So what, John Ison? I'm being serious. Are you Polish? You might be, in which case.
No, I'm not.
No,
I guess the closest we have to that is you can pretty much you can type your calculations into here like a text box, and it will still work. Not as just a list, not that function you said as a list, and then your operator.
Yeah.
If I can just type directly in here, not even
11 plus.
Like hopefully we have something similar and workable for that. I have one more use for the calculator to show, because say you really want it to be interacting with your field data, you don't want to have to do so much manual work. I'm going to show real quick. I'm going to duplicate the icon, make it 20 by 20, and fill. And I've decided I want this to help me calculate quantities. I'm going to put it over by the quantity field over here. And when you double click on the icon, we've got this optional script parameter where you can comment out the final line of it. And right now we're saying we want the field quantity to get the value from the calculator with the default operator of plus, so addition. I'm going to name this field QTY, which is what was written in the script parameter. It can be any name that you want. And now when I go into browse mode, if this works, now we see a button next to the quantity field. And when I hit it, it's automatically put what was in the quantity field into our calculator. And I'm going to say, and the default operator, I'm going to say +3. And I can hit enter or just escape. But now it drops in that value right into the field. So that's really cool. Can really help you save time if you just want this calculator to really be working with particular pieces of data. And let's say you're looking at this like, I don't really like that the icon shows up on every single row. We do have a little bit of code for that. Here it is right here. I'm gonna copy it and put it into the, hide object when. Browse. And now that button only shows up when you've clicked into the field and you're ready to edit it.
Well, isn't that clever?
Yeah. And
I was just thinking when you're showing it off, I'm like, this would be almost great for point of sale.
Pardon?
This would almost be great for point of sale. What you did with it, I didn't realize you guys had added that feature. That's clever.
Yeah, just just to make it look a little bit cleaner. So that was just this is the hide code that we put just so that the list views, just that it only appears, when the field is selected, like a little option. And there's lots of ways to play with it. There's lots of ways to play with the code. It's all open source and in the add-on. And there's lots of ways that you can use the memory functions to your solutions, and just trying to make it as native as possible right now. I'm really excited to see.
Willow, are you able to pull an original value out of one field and then stick the result in another one? Like, for example, if I had a total amount and then I wanted to make change, like I wanted to use the calculator to calculate change for somebody.
Yeah, you could script in the script parameters to be doing specific things.
Okay.
Specific things like that. And if it's a value that like doesn't change that often, you can use memory to save those values and then use your hotkeys or quick keys to be calculating it that quickly.
Yeah, no, that's impressive, especially for junior staff. I'm impressed. Very, very impressed. All right, cool. What else? Anything else we want to do on this one?
Real quick, I know that you showed it to us, Willow, but can you do the little memory functions again? That was the one part like I loosely kind of got, but
yeah,
I feel like I could use a little extra help with it.
All right, I'm gonna go to our default calculator. So basically it's telling me the last time I used it, I using 50, so I'm just gonna hit clear, so all that stuff clears. And I'm gonna pretend that I used it and I just hit close because that was the last thing I did. Now that stores my last captured value and it's L. Let's say I say plus L. Now it's back on there and you can do it again. Or if I want to, so I'm like, okay, great. This is a value I'm going to be using a lot. You can save it into the save values by hitting the Y key or, hitting the click to insert to save these values. And now they are linked to these hotkeys. So I'm gonna hit the Y key. And now every time I use the calculator, I can hit the Y key and hit like Y plus Y.
And this may be a dumb question. Do you have to have the memory popover open, or does it just know those hotkeys?
Yeah, no, you don't have to have it open. So let's say, okay, now I want that. Now I want this one to be this value right here to be in the N spot. I can hit N and it's in the N spot. You don't have to open up the menu. You just have to remember these keys.
And then this is another dumb question. Did you do YHN because they're kind of in a row on the keyboard, or is there a different thought process?
Yeah.
I just noticed they're top to bottom.
Yeah, they're in a row, and yeah, exactly, because they're in a row. I think not M, because M will help you open. So you can use the quick key M to open it if you just want to look at it really fast.
And then L for last capture makes sense.
L for last capture, yeah.
Damn.
Now that's my last capture because I just closed it.
I suddenly feel old, Kristian. I got a problem.
Yeah,
the other thing too, I like
this is taken from looking at a physical calculator does have memory functions, but this is just the basic like last capture memory functions. I know that other calculators have like a lot more advanced ones that we couldn't really figure out. We just went, well, this is what kind of makes sense. Like we just want to make our own.
Well, it's nice too, like outside of the inline stuff you did there, which is really neat. One of the things I like about this add-on is you have the button, but also the hotkey. That was really smart to do that. So if you ever release updates on this, we could really easily, as long as we haven't customized it, uninstall the add-on and just reinstall it with whatever updates you decide to put in, or someone makes to the add-on themselves. It's very portable.
Yeah, we're trying to make it like each individual user can have their own keys and settings and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to show today.
Willow, I have a thought that you could use for your advanced calculator. It'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah?
If you're in there and you want to look at last values, if you could hit the up arrow key like you do on maybe terminal to see previous values, just keep going up and up and up, back and back and back for your history. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean,
could definitely,
it's a great idea. The problem with
calculators,
like my ideas with calculators, there's not a lot of money attached to RPN calculators.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, no, I get that.
But yeah, no, it's a good idea with the up arrow. I think that's great.
Be really convenient, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Great job, Willow. Like I said, it's simple, but you keep adding little things to it that make it great. And then also the the aesthetics of it are just above and beyond. I think that there's people in Discord, if you're not seeing right now, their hats are off to you.
Oh, really?
I don't think any of us are making stuff like that in our
Except
first
the
6
frog.
months. So
Except the frog. The frog just showed up. The frog just showed
I
up.
really appreciate, and I really appreciate all your input that took it to the next level. Definitely a group effort. You know, I can't claim all of the credit, but well, I can claim credit for how it looks. That was completely.
absolutely, I threw some suggestions out, and I was unsure in the beginning, but then as you added them, it was cool to be like, "Well, what about this?" And then you guys started just coming up with your own.
NJ from Australia says it's cool, and NJ is he's submitted a bunch of little cool things he's built, and if NJ is impressed, you've got a gold star from that, because that guy is a major.
Yeah. I definitely have to guess with Kristian. Like, hopefully, this encourages people should submit their add-ons to Kristian, because it really will take off.
All right, there we go. All right, so Ison, you have to follow the Willow, so pressure's on.
Kristian, thanks for putting me after Willow with her very
the
impressive
Willow. It's the
presentation. Willow. The Willow. I'm sorry. Yes. So like Kristian had mentioned, this was something that came up on stream probably close to a year ago that I did, using some scripts. We can print to
which we can link the video later if anyone has questions. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Sure, yeah, no problem. It uses curl calls to print directly to star web printers, which are super convenient if you're doing things like pick tickets in a kitchen or receipts. It doesn't use the print dialog, and it's completely cross-platform because all you're doing is sending a text body on a curl call to an IP address. So what did change
this was the receipt printer thing that we did, right? All the receipt printer stuff?
Yep. Exactly.
That was really cool. By the way, if everyone would see a restaurant grade like receipt printer and then have FileMaker print to it, it works. It definitely works. So yeah.
Yeah. I actually have used it in production at this point. So in terms of printing to these star printers, it can be a little bit of a hassle because, as you can see, this is a screenshot here of my data viewer. I want to just send the text value test. This is what has to actually go to your printer. So that is ugly, to say the least. And can
I frame this? Can I help frame it real quick? So we're all used to printing, like there's a layout and it's this WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. This is old stuff that was invented long before Margaret or Will or wherever born, right? And back in the old days, back when we walked 5 miles of snow barefoot uphill each way, when you printed, you had to do this commands of LPR, like this line command printer stuff, right? And so the computers would never just print what was on your screen. That was like an invention from Steve Jobs and the Macintosh from 1986 or whatever, right? So we've gotten used to this idea that if we have a layout, we press Command P, and out comes this output. Well, the receipt printers in the modern day still work like it's 1912 and the Pony Express, and we all ride horses to work. And so you have to send this string of, I'm going to say it, Phil, Margaret and Willow, put your fingers in your ears, but the string of to the printer, and the printer decodes that and sends it on its merry way. It's really kind of hideously and horrible, but that's still is that the modern receipt printer still to this day? John Ison?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is that it's light and that you don't need to use a print dialog or any sort of print drivers. So there's that advantage there, right? You can do this on Go. You could do this on a web app. You could do this with WebDirect. It's just sending a big block of text. You could actually even store most of this and do some replaces if you wanted to. So you're able to automate some things to use. It could work on anything, on server scripts, anything like that. So that's a nice thing. You avoid any of those layout issues. Everybody knows that printing from a layout in FileMaker can be a headache, to say the least.
Especially on page breaks.
Oh, yeah. And so they basically have an API that's exposed that I wrote originally a script or a bunch of scripts, and then now a custom function for. So I'm going to show you what the add-on looks like, what it adds to your file, and then we'll talk about the documentation. This PDF file is actually in Wolfpack, or will be in Wolfpack, so you'll be able to actually view all of the information as well as some demo JSON, and I'll get to that in just a second. So here we have a brand new blank file. So I've already installed this add-on to my FileMaker. And so we're just going to come down here and find it with this nice pretty print icon. And why did it install web viewer alert? I clicked the wrong one, huh?
I think that's isn't that Kyle's thing? Is that Kyle Williams's add-on?
There we go. Yeah, I don't know.
That one looks like it is, yeah.
Yeah. I have it installed somewhere, so maybe I just had the wrong one clicked. Regardless. So you're going to pull this over here. It literally just has a button that says show demo because you need some sort of object. Pull it off your screen. You don't need it. Once it's in a layout somewhere, you'll be able to view all of the things that come over. What comes over with it is actually basically 3 different techniques that you can use. For one, it gives you all of the scripts that exist. These WebPrint UI ones aren't necessary, but they're there if you need them. The scripts to actually create data are these here, the ones that are labeled create, which go through and they check some values and then they output your string that you need. What's nice is that you're able to debug these. What sucks is that you then have to track that text as you build it, calling script after script after script after script, which can be a bit of a pain. So then went ahead and did some custom functions because I like custom functions. Initially, I did them all as individual ones, much like the scripts. They pull in everything. They do the same tests. So for example, you need to test to make sure that your values are valid for the parameter that you passed in. Let me grab one here. Text. So this is the text one, obviously very big, but we come in, we set some defaults. So, if you don't pass in a value, you just pass an empty string for code page, no problem. We're just going to make it UTF-8 because that's the default. But then we run some tests to make sure that what you have passed in either is on a value list within a range if it's a number, or is it not empty if it is a required value like data is. So that is, we do all that sanity checking, then we spit out the string. If it's wrong, it will, let's see, it'll give you just the string error. Otherwise it will spit out what you actually need for your output. So then we took that, or I took that and stuck it into a single custom function, which I really like using. This is Kristian's idea for me to do this. It gets kind of long and ugly here. It's all the same exact code that's in the broken out ones, except that you only pass in the request name, which is case insensitive, and the parameters as JSON. And so the reason we do parameters as JSON is because different functions require different numbers of parameters, and some of them don't even require any. So you could just pass an empty string and it would be fine, or at least empty JSON. So I will show you a quick little demo of what that can look like just in our data viewer, because that is my preferred way of just testing this. So here we have a web print call to that one combined custom function. We tell it that we want to do text. And the really nice thing about JSON is I don't need to put a bunch of empty strings in or anything to fill in the other 11 parameters that come with the text script or text custom function. So I just send in a single JSON object. The data that I want to print is test, and that's what comes out here. It sends it all the information about being bold, inverted, how big is it, what font is it underlined, all of those things, and then tells it what the value is going to be. But I can come in and add more parameters. And so I took the time to write up all of the different objects that you might use. So for example, this is a text object. This gives you all of the parameters that are available for text. So if we come in here and we need to escape all of those.
Is that the monkey bread? Is that what I'm seeing here? Monkey spread?
It is. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't think Kristian Schmidt's around right now. It is like 11 o'clock his time.
I think the find and replace is FileMaker now. The results down below is definitely monkey bread. I thought Claris finally added us that find and replace.
Oh, potentially. I'm not sure. But it's there. So I went in and I just escaped these quotes. You could definitely, I would run this through a script that would do that for me. But we're able to see that I can come in here now with this object. These are the object that is in that PDF is just defaults. But if I wanted to make something underlined, I just come in and change the value to true. We're good to go. And you can see some examples of our value checks. If I said UTF-81, that doesn't exist, it gives us an error because the printer will refuse to print anything and will kind of crap out. But we can come in and make changes that are within the given parameters. For example, I know line space is either 32 or 24. So if I make it 30, it's going to error. But if I make it 24, it's fine with it. It spits out what we need. And so what you would do is just go in and make the same call over and over, basically, to this custom function.
That error feedback's really nice. I've been doing that more and more in mine. It's nice to know that it's telling you it failed.
Okay, so two things. We do have a question here. This is from Stu. Stu's got a really great question. So this goes back, and when you watch the video, you'll notice that John has his altered ego in place. He was playing as a double agent, secret agent, when he did the live stream with us. So that being said, you'll see kind of how painful doing receipt printers is, but once you got it going, it works. So Stu's question is, does the web print work for all printers or just for star printers? So clearly we're talking about all receipt printers, right? Because I don't think this would work with like a HP laser printer, would it? Or
it would not. So this current library works with some star printers. Any printer that has web print or cloud print will take this. The next step, and I talked about this previously, but I actually have it in my pipeline. I'm going to work on it when I've got some time, is Zebra has a open source language called ZPL that is used by more than just Zebra. But again, that's usually pretty much specialized printers, label printers, card printers, receipt printers.
It's a retail store or warehouse. We're not talking residential printers here, right? So
that being said, you could theoretically generate the underlying code that goes to a normal printer for using some functions. I just have absolutely zero interest, time, and nobody willing to pay me to do that because it is
there was the operative question.
That is a massive nightmare.
It's why we don't have a more advanced calculator by Willow, because no one can find money to pay her to build a calculator like that. So so for those of you wondering about this, Margaret, do we have the links? Have we shared the links for the previous receipt printers with John Eisen, right?
I'm sure we have the links. I haven't shared them yet, so I'm hunting them down.
You can find them. One is a cash drawer, and the other one was a receipt printer. And so the cash drawer was really simple. You'd run a command, and it would just kick the drawer open, and then you could steal all the money out of it, right? Which is kind of cool. And the other one was like a legit printer, like you'd have at the store, like you go to the 7-Eleven and you get a Diet Coke and a beef jerky or something, right? And they say, "Would you like your receipt?" And you're like, "Dude, no." Right? But if they say yes, they hit, out it comes, and they tear it and give it to the person. So kind of neat.
Yep. And that's just another one of the commands that's in here, the printing from or popping a cash drawer or playing a buzzer or anything like that. So that is also
I know another CEO at another company actually used your video and your sample file for a customer of theirs, and they were shocked that we were giving the information away for free. I said, well, that's kind of what the live stream is. We always encourage people to pay us and buy our paid video training course. In fact, this is a CEO from another company who does training. We're not going to name names because there's more than one company that does that, but I will simply tell you that a competitor who does video training in the FileMaker platform called me and said, "Thank you, John Eisen, for doing the cash drawer thing." And he was shocked that he didn't have to pay for it. I'm like, well, so yeah.
Well, I mean, if he wants to pay for it now,
Well, he can send it.
I was going to say we accept donations as well.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah.
That's a fact. Yeah. So. Okay, there's the first link that's popping up, printing to a receipt printer. Once again, John Eisen's there. He just goes by his pen name when he's writing major novels with J.K. Rowling. He goes by his Jeff Cooper. So that's an inside joke as to why we go by that name. So anyway, and there's also the cash drawer live stream, which was a very similar sort of thing.
Yep. And
All right,
so
cool.
star printers are just a couple $100. A cash drawer is probably another $100. So generally pretty low bar of entry for if somebody's actually trying to implement that. And then this code will allow you to get stuff printed pretty quickly. You can even do things like load a logo on the printer and then call it. You just tell it to print logo 1 and it'll print it on the receipt for you.
So look at today, you got a calculator to sit and figure out how much someone owes you, and then an add-on to send the total they owe you to the receipt printer.
Today is
all for the grand value of $0 at the moment.
So Mark, can you make me a presenter real quick, Margaret? Or quit sharing, John? Can you quit sharing briefly?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem.
There you go.
Oh, let me do this. This is the gratuitous moment here. This broadcast is brought to you by FMTraining.tv, where you can purchase the latest, greatest in training materials. Visit FMTraining.tv, which in the future will be called Training Claris or Claris Training or whatever we're doing. It's on the flashlights that we did at Pause on Air. Anyway, so FMTraining.tv, where you can purchase one of our bundles. When you buy these, this is how we put a couple $100 in the piggy bank. You get awesome training in depth and greater detail than what you get here. On top of it, you help pay the bills to keep the lights on so I can pay the the internet and everything else that goes on here. It's quite the bill every day for a live stream, because I can assure you that Kristian Olsen expects to be paid for his time today, along with John Eisen both. They just didn't like John Eisen didn't go, oh, hot air balloon art is here, so he's so valuable, I'm just going to give my time away for free. I can assure you that didn't happen. So anyway, Kristian, are you there?
But we very, very much appreciate Willow being here.
Yeah, Willow's really great.
I've done a coaching with Ken.
Yeah, well, I'm going to probably get a bill from Willow in about 8 minutes. So when that happens, I'll let you all know about it. So
we're all sharing here. It's all open source is the key word, right?
It is. It very much is. I just have to do that because every day the piggy bank eventually will run empty if I don't get money in the piggy bank. All right, cool. So that is the add-on manager. What else, John Eisen, do you want to show since we did your thing? Is there other stuff you want to show? Or
that's the extent of that add-on. It's super straightforward. I mean, it's not going to be the quickest thing for you to do in the world, but that's just because it takes time to build that text block out. But it really takes a lot of the pain out of doing it, because I did it manually once and I will never do that again.
Yeah, no, it's painful. So these are the video links right here. If you go into here, this is got it. Yes, thank you. Building a receipt printer with Jeff Cooper. That's his stage name when he's on a pole, right? John Eisen. And so
yep.
Stage name.
And if I can follow up with something John said there just real quick. We were at a conference just recently, and I was talking to people about add-ons, and I was really surprised how few people are really using these. And John just said something right there. I'm finding that if there's a task that I'm repeating over and over again, I try to think, can't I just put this into an add-on because I don't want to redo this thing, even some of the simpler ones. So to me, there's huge value, and I really, really appreciate, Wolfpack was an idea I had to help me with my own, but seeing it come to life with contributions from like Willow and John. And I forgot to mention, Kyle Williams sent us one way at the beginning of the year. Color Picker version 2 is in there. And we actually have another one that wasn't ready for this release from another developer as well. So I think this is cool, having the open source collaboration of people submitting these add-ons to it so we can share with one another. Yeah. And John was a little bit of a slacker. So his help document will get put into Wolfpack shortly after today's presentation. There's a minimal version in there at the moment.
Okay, cool. And then there was a question about, we had Ruben had someone on a poll. We're just going to let that one roll by. Hansa said, or not Hansa, but David said, or Ruben said to David, that David said to Hansa, said that, I guess Hansa at 24U made a native FM tool which generates barcodes, right? Reminds me of the barcode generator that Geist Interactive once upon a time had, that Jeremy Bonte had created. That they tried to sell to me once upon a time, but now it's kind of open source stuff. But I should see if we could get Hansa with that QR code or something, and we could stick that in there. It creates barcodes with a web viewer or something like that. So that would be another good one too, barcode creator. Although that's in 19, doesn't it create barcodes automatically? Or probably limit. Knowing Claris,
it doesn't do QR codes, I think. if I remember correctly.
Okay, so that's
But the question David had was, does it print QR codes? And the answer is yes, not just QR codes, but a lot of different barcode options.
You're talking about the Star printer with your stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. He was asking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. You just give it the data and it generates it for you. You don't even have to generate it. It's just you tell it what it is, what to say.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, tomorrow is a follow-up to today, so we're landing the airplane tomorrow. I have to actually go somewhere, so I won't be here running interference, causing problems for the team. All right, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow. Appreciate the awesomeness today. Am I still sharing? I think I am sharing, right, Margaret? Yep.
You are sharing. So
all right, I'm going to hit the closing button, see if it works. 1, 2, 3. See everyone tomorrow.
bye.
Hey, we should put Willow on the closing here. Put like another person on here or something. Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.